Hello and welcome to the instructional video for the 2020 Burstner Ixeo I744. I'm going to start off by doing the outside of the vehicle, then we'll move to the inside. First of all, to flick or open the bonnet, there is a latch on the passenger side that pulls down, which allows the bonnet release, which will allow the bonnet to lift up. As we move around the vehicle, we have a full-length LED lit awning, which works by placing the awning pole, which is just stood here in the garage, which locates into a hole on the left hand side of the awning. You lift it up, quarter turn, and then it drops down to locate. You then wind the awning out just far enough that you can reach the box, and then in the front of the box there are two legs that drop down to support the weight of the awning. Make sure that the legs are down and extended to take the weight of the awning. Then you can walk the awning out by winding the awning pole to allow it to its full extension. As you can see, it is lit by LEDs, which are controlled by one of the light switches just on the inside of the habitation door. As we get to the habitation door is central locking, working off your key fob. And whilst we're at that point, we might as well look at the keys. So from the keys, you can see we have a button at the top which allows release to start the engine, and then we have the top button which is to open the passenger door, the middle one which is to lock the doors, and then the bottom one is for the habitation door. As you can see, we also have an electric step, which again is controlled by a button on the inside of the habitation door. Please make sure that this step is in before you set off to drive, and as you'll see, and which I'll show you inside, there is a red button on the dash which will light up to tell you if the awning is out. As we move around the vehicle, this hatch here is for the outside shower point, and then above it we have a fridge, a vent for the fridge, the lower and the upper. Please make sure that these are not sprayed with a jet wash. And if you are using the vehicle in winter time, you might want to consider winter covers. Next to the gas point is an external power point where we have a 240 outlet and a 12 volt, which are European, so you will need adapters for those. And underneath you have an aerial point. Please be aware that this is not connected as standard. It is just the power point. If you want to get the aerial point connected, please contact our service department. Next to it is the toilet cassette, which we pull the lift handle up and it will slide out to allow access. Full details of how the toilet cassette is used is in the manuals. Moving to the back of the vehicle, we then have the garage. In the garage there are fixing points. Please be careful if you are ratcheting anything to them. We have vents for heating because it's heated, and obviously a light as well. This black box here is your jack and brace and toolkit, and you also have a set of the factory fitted carpets. Moving to the back of the vehicle, there is a reverse camera which is adjustable. You can just take the caps off the ends, and it's an Allen key that can adjust the angle if you want it slightly different. And then on the other side we have the other access door to the garage. Here you also see we have some Alco chocks, which I recommend you use if you're parking on any sort of slope with the vehicle. To lock the any of the locker doors, it is a simple case of putting the key in and you'll hear a click. Click to lock and then click to unlock. Moving around the vehicle, we then have the external shower point, and then the gas locker. In the gas locker we just have at the moment stored all the manuals. You also have your shower head, your tyre inflation kit, and also some other spare parts and some other manuals. This vehicle will take two 6kg calibre bottles, and there you have the regulator for which you can fit your new pigtail or gas connector onto the top of it and then into your bottle. There are holes in the bottom of the gas locker. Please make sure that these aren't covered up, because if there is, in the event of a leak, it will allow gas to escape out the bottom of the vehicle. Here we have the Truma vent, which is the flue for the boiler and heating system, Again, please make sure that this isn't covered up and not covered in leaves. Also be careful as well, because it will get hot. The final locker on the outside of the vehicle is your Burstner convenience locker. So first of all, we have our hookup point, and basically you run the cable through this little gap, and then you can hook up so you can lock your cable away. This here is your freshwater tank, and we have access to clean it, and then we have access for filling up. So to fill the water up, we just take the blue cap off, remove this little black key, which we'll come to later, and then use this piece of plastic which is used in case there's any overflow, so it flows out of the vehicle. The hose pipe will sit in here, and then you can fill the tank up fully. And that's how we fill it. You can also see on the side of the water tank if there's water in as well. To drain down the water, we use a wheel that's on top of the water tank, and as you can see, there's a little sticker that tells you that is also to drain it down to 20 litres. Basically, all we do is turn it 180 degrees. So if you notice, there's no water now, it's stopped, and then I just go 180, and that allows water to drain. That will allow it to drain just to 20 litres, which is our travelling water. If I turn this further till I feel some resistance, that will drain the whole water tank. The next drain that we have is this black box here, which is our frost protection valve. This is a feed to the boiler, and basically what happens is, if this box senses that it's below 6 degrees, it will drain the water automatically out of the boiler. To reset that, you will need to turn the diamond 90 degrees and push the button in. The button is on the side. If the button doesn't go in, it is still too cold in this area, so you need to get your heating on, and these heating pipes will warm that area to allow it to be reset. And finally, we have another drain here, which is another feed from the boiler. Obviously there's quite a few water pipes in this vehicle, so we'll allow it to drain down fully. So to drain the water, we do it turn this anti-clockwise all the way. We then make sure that this is either open automatically, or we can do it ourselves by turning the diamond, and then also open this valve, and then we can run the pump, and that will then drain all the water out of the vehicle. The black key that we looked at before is used for your grey water, or to drain your grey waste, and you'll see next to the gas socket there's a little symbol, and if we look underneath, we have our grey wastewater pipe, and then a bar that this key connects to, and all we do is turn it 90 degrees. So close and open, and then, like I say, it stores away by the black plastic fitting on, and then the key then clicks in for safe storage. And then we have one more hatch on here, which is for our diesel, and you'll see there is diesel and also the filler for the AdBlue. So now let's move into the interior of the vehicle, and let's start from the rear, and we'll work our way forward. So at the rear we have 3 picture windows. All of the windows and all of the roof lights in the vehicle have blackout blinds and fly screens, and these work the same operation for all of the windows and all of the roof lights. To open the windows, we just pull these levers down, which I like to release, and then it will have locating pins on the bars on the side. Please remember that when you open it, to then get it to go down, you have to open it to its full extension. This particular vehicle has a television fitted, and to release the television to get a better angle, we pull this bar down, which will allow us to adjust the angle. But make sure when travelling that it is locked away and not fouling any cables. We have a 240 point in the back, along with some other power points as well. To drop the rear bed, we have a small key that is placed here, and then we can operate the bed up and down. Please make sure that we remove all cushions, including the rear cushions that need to sit in this bottom area to allow the bed to go down fully, and also please make sure that nothing is going to foul on the cushion base when you drop the bed, because that will damage it. And also please remember to remove this piece of wood at the back as well. You also have a coffee table in the 744, which we just used to release, and then you have a coffee table. Underneath is a small handle that allows it to raise and lower. And then to store that away, it just slides in, and please ensure that we clip the locks in so it doesn't slide about. There is storage in the back and also a dividing door. To release the dividing door, we push up, which will allow it to release and then close fully for privacy. Again, to travel, please make sure that this is all the way back and locked to prevent it from sliding. This vehicle has a status 570 aerial fitted, which has the power on the top, and then also the boost gauge for signal. There are various light switches around the vehicle, which are very simple to use. The shower itself is again pretty simple, and you also have a hanging rail for wet clothes or wetsuits, and also a vent that needs to be open when being used. The toilet door does come across and locates to make again another private room, and the toilet itself has a 240 power, its own light switch, and then obviously the toilet itself. To use the toilet, you can adjust it to get yourself comfortable, and then we have a handle underneath which allows the opening and closing of the blade into the toilet cassette. For the rear, we have the flush, which will only work when the pump is on, and also an indicator to tell me when the toilet cassette is full. The procedure for using a toilet is simple. It is open the blade using the grey handle, do your business, flush the toilet, and then make sure you close the blade afterwards. There's also toiletry cupboards in the bathroom, both above the sink and underneath as well. And again, a vent as the same as the shower. Moving forward in the vehicle, we come to the kitchen area where we have underfloor storage, which currently holds a ladder, and there is also another underfloor storage further forward. And we have a sink with again another power point and also some lights. These lights do detach, and you can use these around the vehicle if you want more light in different places, and they'll slide on, and also when they reconnect we just twist them. There is a 3-ring gas burner, an oven and a grill, which are pretty self-explanatory, and under here we have the main trip switch on the RCD. In the cupboards, so the drawers here, the first one is with our isolator switches. You don't need to touch those. And then we have sliding drawers that are also soft close. And on the other side of the kitchen, we then have our fridge area. So first of all, above we have a storage cupboard, and then we have the fridge itself, which has its own freezer compartment. To turn the fridge on, we just press the power, and then we have 3 modes of fuel or power, which is mains, gas and 12 volt. Or we have A, which is automatic, and it will just select the best source of fuel, which will prioritize mains. If it can't find mains, it will move to gas, and if you can't find gas, it will then move to 12 volt. Please remember though that it will only work on 12 volt if the engine is running. And then we obviously have here the controls for the temperature, and again, to turn the fridge off, we press the power button and hold it. Full instructions for the fridge again are all in the manual for you. So we move forward then into the lounge. Oh, sorry, let's just go back to the kitchen. We have a cupboard here, which is for a kettle or for a coffee machine, which it does have a power point. And on either side there are obviously kitchen cupboards, and there is the grill pan for you. Again, moving forward into the lounge, underneath this bench here is your boiler and also the water tank, just so you know where it is. The seat belts are hidden behind this if you do have people travelling with you, and if you do have people travelling, you'll just need to remove this seat base. Underneath this seat here is another storage area, but please be careful of the heating pipes that they don't get damaged when you're storing things in. For the front bed, it is a very simple procedure. We just drop the front seats by turning this lever, which will allow them to drop down into this position. The same for the other one. And then the bed will just simply, you lift this and it will then just drop down. Make sure when you're travelling that this is fully clicked up. You'll hear an audible click. And then you can use the bed safely, and there are ladders to get up into that bed. The habitation door has its own bin, which you can put your bin liners in, and also just remember at the top there's a little small dustpan and brush for you. It also has a blackout blind as well, and when you open the door there is also a fly screen. The entranceway has light switches, a double USB point, and also another area for a television to be fitted. It has a 240 and a 12 volt, and also an aerial point. And again, the TV bracket works in the same way as the TV bracket in the back. The full controls for the Truma heating and water system can be found in the manual. If you do need us to give you any help with that, just give us a call after you've taken the vehicle, and then you will come to the main control panel. So the main control panel has power on and off, and then we just cycle through by turning this dial to choose what we want to look at. So we have, first of all, the 12 volt system, or from the leisure battery. You can see there's a symbol of the back of the vehicle with a battery, and that will tell us the percentage that it's full, the voltage, and also the amps that we're currently using. The same for the engine battery, but that just tells us the voltage. We have our freshwater gauge, which is telling me I'm 75% full, our wastewater, which is currently empty, and also the clock. And if we cycle to the other side, we have the internal temperature, the external temperature, and also how to turn my pump on and off. Details of how the pump system works, again found in the manual, and it will tell you to prime the system, etc. Finally, we then move to the front of the vehicle, which is again pretty simple. To turn the seats, we just pull this little lever here backwards to allow it to release. Use the slider to pull the seat to miss the handbrake, and then make sure that that is locked in before you set off. Just for reference, underneath the driver's seat is the leisure battery. Underneath the passenger footwell is the engine battery. In the front of the vehicle, most of us are familiar with all these, but we have remise blinds that slide across, and also remise blinds that that drop down to give us privacy. You also, just again for reference, underneath the passenger seat is your main control box, or the ECU for the motorhome, so you can check some fuses in there. And again, you'll see that flashing, which is our solar panel controller as well. We're all, like I say, pretty familiar with the Fiat cab. On the steering wheel we have controls for the radio and for the phone. We have cruise control and speed limiter, indicators and lights on this side, and then windscreen wipers and water jets on this side. This is the indicator to tell me that the step's out. The 9-speed new gearbox is again very simple to drive. We have park, reverse, neutral and drive. We can also change the drive modes into eco, normal and sport. The Pioneer system again is pretty intuitive to use, and all the details are in the manual for that. This particular vehicle has digital climate control, which is air conditioning that is digitally controlled just for the cab area, which you can just set your temperatures to what you want. We have controls here for the electric and heated rear view mirrors or side mirrors. We have locking, a central locking control. We have a 12 volt and the USB charger. and this here is the microphone for your phone. On the sides we have controls for the electric windows and also reading lights, and then on this side we have the controls for the side mirrors or the wing mirrors. Just on this side we have the mode or the controls to change or adjust the time and settings on your dashboard. And that's really all that we need to discuss for this vehicle. If there are any other items that you want to or need clarification on, please do not hesitate to contact myself, Brad, or the service department. But happy motorhoming. Thank you.